you're asking, I think, is are we there? I don't think that the 2012 election is a definitive test of your proposition. And the reason is that Obama did not have an opponent who presented a coherent and strong argument for, let's say, the Reaganite perspective of smaller government, less taxes, less dependency. You know, Romney was a good man, but he basically ran on the economy. Lousy economy, we need a new CEO in Washington. It didn't work. I think we will get a good test of this in 2016. We're going to have the 4 years of Obama's hyper-liberalism, the kind of stuff he elucidated and enunciated yesterday in the inaugural address. And I would say that if our ideology, conservative, small government ideology, is correct, it will leave a mess behind. But we will also need, as conservatives, or Republicans if you like, a standard bearer into 2016 who can make the case. And there is not a dearth of them. We have a very strong bench. We've got Ryan, we've got Rubio, we've got the governors. There's a whole young generation of conservatives who can make the case. That will be the test. Although I will say that if liberals keep winning elections, then your theory of a fundamental change in the nature of the electorate and the sense of dependency at which point it becomes a point of no return would be right.
All right.
I'm just saying we don't know, and history will tell us rather soon.
But there's something wrong with we the people. There's something wrong now in this country. In the election of 2010, the Tea Party emerged, and the Republicans did very well. All right? They took the House back from the Democrats, and the surge was to the right and to a smaller government, more responsible government. That evaporated so quickly in front of my eyes and your eyes. All of the momentum evaporated. It all went away in less than 2 years. And I don't know why. And that's on the folks, is it not?
No, I think, in fact, I think that's an argument for the other side, and I'll tell you why. You can't get a fundamental change in the philosophy of a country in 2 years. That doesn't happen. What does happen is you run the 2010 election. What was the difference between 2010 and 2012? 2010, there was no presidential candidate at the top of the ticket. It was a purely ideological election, which was largely on Obamacare, the revulsion against Obamacare, the single most intrusive legislation.
But why didn't that carry through? If there was so much revulsion, why didn't it carry through to the election of 2012?
Because the candidate chosen in 2012 had passed Romneycare, which was the equivalent of Obamacare.
But still, you would think they would vote against the guy, the architect of this big liberal machine that now is exposed. You know, remember in 2008, Barack Obama was a much more moderate guy, according to Barack Obama. All right, he's actually the same guy. We know that. But the folks turned real fast, Charles. I'll give you the last word.
No, they didn't. Bill, you're dancing around the issue. You're saying, why would they elect a guy who was the engineer of Obamacare? Because the alternative is a guy who did Romneycare.
Yeah, but
so
nobody thought that Romney was going to prop that up. He said he was going to do away with it.
But he never offered a strong conservative alternative. If you had run a Reagan, who I admit is exceptional in his charisma and be able to explain things, but Reagan would have won. Those were conditions that Republicans lost the election, and they lost it because they couldn't make the case. The case is there to be made, and they need a candidate who will make it. I think the country would respond.